Hello, welcome back to Steve's Retirement Corner. Fidelity's 401 advice. Last week I had to go into our local office. I wanted to ask them, the Fidelity office, I wanted to ask them the process for setting everything up, when I needed to sign my papers, and what all it took, what all it involved. And so I went in and talked to the fellow about it, and everything was pretty straightforward. It's not that big daggone deal. He told me not to come back till about, I wouldn't have to come back until middle of January. He says, take about 30 minutes and everything will be done. We just set up a bank account, where I wanted it to come out, when I wanted it to come out, and how much, and just put the order in is all he's really got to do. So that that's a relief for me. So, but while I was there, he did look over everything, and he was fine with the way I had everything split up. He's fine with my withdrawal plan, and he just wanted to suggest maybe that I go to three buckets instead of just keeping two like I do, which makes sense. It's it, I get 10 years to draw Social Security, so he's wanted to split it up into three-year sections. Well, actually, two 3-year sections, and then everything else is in the third section. He figures 3 years cash and cash equivalents, bonds, or whatever, stable value, and then 3 years that are mixed, some growth and some stable value, and then everything else in the growth one. And it makes a lot of sense. It's just I never set it up that way. I put everything in cash or bonds or stable value or whatever, and then I have all my investments in another. I just separate them like that into two pieces instead of three. But it makes sense to me because if you got that 3 years in a mixed fund, that's sort of like keeping your bullpen ready in baseball. The main pitchers that cash, you know, come late innings, you want to put in a fresh guy. You got some fresh dough back here in that mixed fund. It's making a little bit more cash than cash, you know, and it's pretty safe at the same time. So I I kind of like that idea. And once I go to shift that money from the 401 to the IRA, that's probably how I'll go. You know, but that's pretty much all I had to say. He didn't have too much. There's not a whole lot of tweaking he could do to the plan I had in process. So it made his job easy, made me happy. Not a whole lot I got to think about on that stuff. So other than that, I got I get to keep all my insurances. My health insurance didn't change. I thought the company was going to drop it at contract, but they didn't. Um, so it stayed the same. I get to keep my eye care and my life insurance, and I'm currently got some calls in from looking for dental insurance. I have to get that on my own. It's going to go up. It's going to about double, but it's good insurance. It's the same insurance we got. So I, I'm happy with what I have, and if I'm able to, I'd like to carry it on when I leave. How's that? You know. So all that stays the same. Um, Next thing to do is I don't know if it'll be this. Yeah, I guess it will be. Probably tomorrow or the next day I'll call for get my pension papers so I can have them signed and turned back in by the end of the month. And then it'd just be killing time, which I've gotten pretty good at the past couple of weeks. I tell you, if retirement is anything like these past couple of weeks, man, I was built for it, man. It's what I was born to do. It was enjoyable. It really has been. Being able to do stuff on my time, what I wanted to do, stretch things out if I have to, not have to rush. It, I, I got a pretty low key life, It's not real stressful, you know. So it's it's nice to keep it that way when I go out, you know. I just I'm not looking for nothing that I don't have now. How's that? Except for not having a job. Something I have to get out and go do is not what I'm looking forward. Is not what I'm looking for when I leave. It just isn't. So, well, that's about it. Had a couple questions on that stuff. People wanted me to make sure I kept them updated on what the withdrawal strategy they suggested, and how my health care went shook out after the contract, and that all pretty much stayed the same. The only other thing he did suggest was upping my withdrawal a little bit, a few thousand in a year, and I like that. So, you know, that's what I like to do, but I was trying to take out as little as I had to right now. But I was leaning that way to begin with, but once he suggested it, it just kind of solidified it in my mind. So it's not much, 5, 10 grand more years all. So, but I think that's what I'm going to do too. I like the way it looks overall, you know. And it's like I told him, if I don't use it, it'll sit in the bank. It's not like I'm going to spend it just because I get it. We just ain't like that. Me and the wife had a conversation about that today. She's got a number in her head that she likes to see in that checking account, and a number in her head about that savings account. And it gets below that, it bothers her. There's no other way to put it, and she knows that's the way she is. So, we just if we put 10 grand in there, we like to have 8 grand in there. If it gets below that 8 grand, it shakes us up, you know. But her problem is she puts that 10 grand in there, and then she sets her next target at 15. And then when she gets that, she don't want to go below that. And then she sets another target at 20 or 25. It's hard to keep up with her targets, and it makes it harder to spend anything because she sets that next target and don't want to go below it. But I mean, that's how we got to where we at. Well, y'all be good. We'll talk with y'all later.